Late last week we covered a Nintendo Switch unboxing, which happened because a NeoGAF user by the name of Hip Hop the Robot managed to get their hands on their pre-ordered Nintendo Switch early. Now, the link to the article that I wrote about this is in the description below this video if you missed it, but basically they showed off the console. They said they were just lucky that their retailer shipped a pre-ordered console early. However, it seems that wasn't the case. And this particular unit that was shown off in this video was part of a isolated incident of theft by employees of a US distributor, which Nintendo did not name, and one of these systems was then resold. So basically, some employees of some distributor in the US stole a bunch of Switches and resold one. And Nintendo said, quote, "The individuals involved have been identified, terminated from their place of employment, and are under investigation by local law enforcement authorities on criminal charges." Now, before I move on to the full statement from Nintendo on this particular topic, I do want to just quickly say that this NeoGAF user in question did ship the console in question back to Nintendo only 2 days after he'd actually done the unboxing videos. Now, obviously, some NeoGAF users were basically saying, "Oh, you know, did Nintendo pressure you into bringing this, sending this console back?" But it seems that no, he sent it back because once he realised it was stolen, then obviously, you know, he kind of realised I shouldn't have this and sent it back to Nintendo. He didn't know it had actually been stolen until after he made the videos, and once he found out that was the case, he sent it back to Nintendo. As for Nintendo's full statement, they gave a statement on the matter to IGN, and they said, quote, "Earlier this week, individuals claimed to prematurely purchase a small number of Nintendo Switch systems from an unspecified retailer. Nintendo has determined these units were stolen in an isolated incident by employees of a US distributor, with one system being illegally resold," and obviously goes on to say about them being terminated and so on. So, yeah, I mean, definitely good that the user, Hip Hop the Robot, sent the Switch in question back to Nintendo, but I'm sure the employees who actually stole the units that in question here are kind of regretting their decision now that they're getting the legal force of Nintendo bearing down upon them. However, that isn't the only Nintendo Switch news for today, as Nintendo has also published the file sizes for their lineup of downloadable Switch games, and to be honest, one of the game sizes in particular points to a microSD expansion for the console being, to be honest, a necessity, and that is Dragon Quest Heroes 1 and 2, which is 32 gigabytes, and that is exactly the amount of memory that comes with the console. Now you might say, "Oh, so why do I need an SD card for that then, if it's exactly the memory?" Well, as you might recall from my look at the Nintendo Switch early unboxing that I just discussed, there's actually 6.1 gigabytes for the operating system set aside, and of course other software. So with that in mind, you literally cannot fit Dragon Quest Heroes 1 and 2 on the space that is actually coming with the machine. Now obviously you can always buy the retail version. I'm just saying that for this particular version, if you want to buy it digitally, then you will need to get an expansion. Of course, we already knew previous to this that, for example, Breath of the Wild is only 13.4 gigabytes, but we also have a bunch of other file sizes for the digital versions of various games. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is 7 gigs, Snipper Clips is 1.6, Disgaea is 5.92, Puyo Puyo Tetris is 1.9, I Am Setsuna is 1.4, and Nobunaga's Ambition is 5 gigabytes. So it does seem that Dragon Quest Heroes is for now the only set of games that this is actually happening with, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see more like this in the future, given the fairly limited amount of space actually built into the machine. Now, of course, it's no big thing to buy a micro SD card, but don't forget that to get a good read-write speed, you don't just get the cheapest that you can find on Amazon. You probably want to get like a Class 10 or something like that, and again, if you want a actual reasonable amount of space, then the cost for the machine is definitely going to climb. I can see digital downloads for big games like Dragon Quest Heroes 1 and 2 not being as popular just for this reason. Of course, there's an extra cost involved, as well as, you know, the purchase of the game. You might as well just go into the shop and buy it, or, you know, order it off Amazon and wait an extra day or two. But of course, I could be completely and utterly wrong. You know, obviously each person's priorities is different, but it's definitely not brilliant that a game already is maxing out what the space has to offer, sorry, what the Switch has to offer in terms of space. But again, at least this does only apply to the digital versions, as of course, unlike the PS1, Xbox One, Switch games will not require an install. So at least that is one small token that it is mainly digital gamers that are going to be needing to worry about SD cards and the extra cost that entails. Regardless, I want to know your thoughts on this, guys. As always, your support is very appreciated. Let me know your opinion in the comments below, and I'll see you next time.